पैसा कौन ले रहा है?
सिनेमा जा रहे हैं बोल के जाइए।
नंबर इज कल 3 PM ठीक है। न्यू रजिस्ट्रेशन
आपने दे दिया।
हरिओम हरिओम हरिओम।
आनंद जी इनका नाम लिखिए ना प्लीज। तो मुझे काली पेपर दीजिए। आशीष बहाना गिव मी द पेपर।
The members of Chinmaya Mission Guwahati extend our heartiest welcome to all of you in this 2-day in-depth camp on dynamic life through spiritual power by Swami Mitrananda ji. Today is Akshaya Tritiya. We are going to start the inaugural function of the camp in this very, very auspicious day. Our chief guest, CGM State Bank of India, has been called by Chief Minister, so he will be joining us later. I request respected Swami ji to come to the dais and take his seat, and I request Mr. Amit Kumar Jain, President, Chinmaya Mission Guwahati. Thank you, Swami ji. Thank you, Amit ji. Now I request Mr. B.L. Agarwal ji, our former president, to come to the dais and take his seat. I request Vijaya Venkateshwaran for the invocation.
Sahana
महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्.
Now I request Dr. Sunita Agarwal to say a few about Swamiji.
Hari Om. It's my privilege to introduce Swami Mitrananda to all of you. Most of us, we know him, but this is just introduction for the people who are new here. Swami Mitrananda is a dynamic disciple of His Holiness Swami Chinmayananda Ji. He served as a spiritual teacher of Chinmaya Mission Chennai. He is the director of several national projects of Chinmaya Mission and a publisher of Chinmaya Udghosh, an international youth magazine. He is an inspiring tutor, daring adventurer, vibrant speaker, creative writer, vigilant administrator, and a mentor for many youngsters across the world. He uses powerful tools such as outdoor experiential learning, adventure, travel, biking, car rallies, theatre, writing, and creativity to convey the profound message of Vedanta, propelling individuals to tap into their hidden potential. Through the Youth Empowerment Program, Swamiji has trained more than 300 youth to serve India. He travels across the world to impart the teachings of Hinduism. His innovative and logic interpretations of ancient Indian philosophy has made him very popular among the youths. And more about Swamiji you'll know as he interacts with you for the next 2 days. Thank you. With these words, I introduce Swami Mitrananda to all of you.
Now I request Meenakshi Mahanta to come to the dais and felicitate Swamiji with the traditional Fulam Gamucha of Assam. Meenakshi Mahanta. And I request Reena Rath to kindly assist in lighting the lamp.
शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपं ज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिर्विनाशाय दीपं ज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं करोति कल्याणम्.
Mr. B. Agarwal, past President Chinmaya Mission Guwahati, senior members of the Chinmaya Mission, members of Baby Group, Ms. Sika Chakravarti, coordinator of this program today, our participants and guests. I extend a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Chinmaya Mission Guwahati. Our Chief Guest, Mr. Murthy, has not been able to join us due to an unscheduled call by the Chief Minister of the state, and he is supposed to join us later in the day. But he has sent his best wishes for the program today morning. Indeed, it is a heartening day for Chinmaya Mission Guwahati that Swamiji had blessed us today and given us the opportunity to organize this 2-day camp for the people of Guwahati. We are very happy that we have got some corporate participants apart from our Devi Group members and Chinmaya Mission members. State Bank has been kind enough to send their senior officers to the program today. We have more participants from some more local corporates here today amongst us. A brief about Chinmaya Mission has been given in the beginning, and Sundarji has introduced Swamiji, so I will not take much time. I would just like to request all of you to take the benefit of this 2 days camp and understand the Vedanta philosophy which Swamiji is going to impart to you. Chinmaya Mission doesn't believe in quantity, but we believe in quality. We are not too much visible in this part of the country, but all of you who travel throughout the country would see Chinmaya Mission with a very high visibility throughout the country and even abroad. We have almost 300 centers all over the world. In Guwahati, our center is at Rukmini in JS Road in 6 Mile, and it's a very big center. We run a school there. We have regular activities of youths, of ladies, which is called Heavy Group, of the children, which is called Bal Vihar. I think we run around 7 to 8 Bal Vihar classes in the school, in the city. We have other study groups which our senior members interact and they sit every week, once or twice, in a group of 8-10 people, and they pick up one of the books of Gita, of Swamiji or of our Indian Vedanta, and they discuss on that. So that is called a study group circle. I believe that this 2 days camp could be an eye-opener for all of you, would clear a lot of doubts in your minds and help in leading a good life, and also at the same time it will also encourage us and give us a feeling of how we can serve the society and our country. I believe that once you are over with this camp, we could be happy to extend our arms to new members out of the people who are present here. We are in a lot of activities and we welcome voluntary support and services by any of you. Chinmaya Mission is a very open organization and it doesn't believe in too much of hierarchy or any post type of organization. We are not very glamorous, to say honestly, like other social organizations, but we try to work at the intellect level. So it is a little tough job. Our products are not easily marketable, honestly, compared to the other products available in the market. But yes, once this product is marketed well, you are helping the country, you are helping our this great civilization in a big way. With these words, I will not take much time. I once again extend my very warm welcome to all of you, and it's really heartening. At the same time, I could extend my sincere thanks to Sikhaji and her team that in a very short time they have been able to organize this event in a very nice way, and we hope that we will have regular more of this type of programs in times to come. Thank you and Hari Om.
Thank you, Amitji. Now I request Swamiji to address the gathering.
I'm extremely happy that the Devi group, the mother's wing of Chinmaya Mission, took up this initiative. In one of my visits last time, I did speak to them saying, look at something like this. And with all enthusiasm and with all sincerity, this attempt is made, and I heartily congratulate the entire mother's wing for taking up this beautiful initiative. It's a joy unspeakable because when mothers take up the responsibility of cultural renaissance, lot can be done faster. Some of you may not know this. When Gurudev started his work, the first yajna was in Pune, and he did 99 yajnas. I mean, totally he has done 525 plus. When he completed 99th yajna, the 100th yajna happened in Madras, now Chennai, and that he told the entire organizing team will be the mothers from Chennai. So it's a hallmark. 100th yajna of his was completely organized by the Devi group, and I know some of them are still there now. I know them, and the whole committee was all women, and they organized it in a very big way in Chennai. Gurudev gave these opportunities because organizing needs a skill. More than organizing More than the skill, it is identification. You identify with the event, you identify with the cause, you identify with the master, you identify with his work. This identification is a strength for any organization. Please remember, in teamwork, how much you identify with the team is what matters. So in any work when we do, how much we identify with it is very, very important. Such events makes the group identify with a bigger vision, with a mission, and that would be a strength unspeakable. With that kind of a strength, we can only aspire to do more. Why we do a program like this? Generally we do these kind of talks in the evenings, 6 days. Times have changed. Now, how many people can give 6 days in a trot every evening? So that becomes difficult. So earlier we had a lot of leisure. Today we are strangers to leisure. There's no leisure in our life. Life has become so hectic, so fast, so quick. Things move on. Where is the leisure? How much time do we have? Even if we go, like I was in Impal 2-3 days back. Somebody invited me for dinner. I went to their house sitting. First thing they did was put the TV on. We are sitting there. I said, I think that can be off for a while. I don't want to see the television. We both are here. Let's have some leisure. In leisure, we can speak something. Why that should be on? You're not going to pay attention to it. But somewhere an occupation has come this way. Are you by yourself? Do you have time? Life has become so fast, so quick, that a tremendous amount of effort is needed to make a complete shift to what we are going. Alvin Toffler calls it the disease of the future shock. What is called as culture shock, all of us are very familiar with it. Alvin Toffler says, this is the disease. This generation is going through a disease called future shock. What do you mean, future shock? You get shocked in your own culture. If you move from one place to another place, let's say you go from here to some other continent, the lifestyle, living, various things change and you're shocked by it, and then it takes time for you to get accustomed to that. That is called culture shock. Future shock is we are shocked in our own culture. We are shocked in our own continent. We are shocked in our own town where we live. Look at the speed in which life has moved. Some of it is for good, definitely. Productivity and various things have definitely scaled, but at a cost of individuality, personal. There's no leisure, man is not relaxed. Lot of development has happened. So much of effort has gone to raise the standard of living. We must congratulate people who all worked so hard to raise the standard of our living. We are living in a standard which is of very, very high comfort. Against the climatic conditions, we can choose the temperature in which we want to live. Across continents, we can communicate in seconds. The kind of travel, the speed in which we go, various things when it comes to standard of living is being well raised. Thanks to all those people who put tremendous effort to raise the standard of living. But where we missed out was the ancient wisdom which spoke about standard of life. What is your standard of life in this brilliant standard of living. If we have to give 1 to 10 marks for standard of living, we may give 9 or 10. For standard of life, how much do we give? What is the quality of my life? What is the level of stress? What is the level of tension? What is the level of living life in regrets? What is the level of disease? Please think. To which extent have we gone into all this? What is our standard of life? What is the quality of life we have? Living is very important, understood, but not at the cost of life. This kind of a discussion and the knowledge which we have will try to raise the standard of life. Life with immense inner strength is important. That is standard of life. Life with lot of compassion for the fellow beings is standard of life. Living life to our full potential is standard of life. Are we living life to our potential today? What is our potential? How do we look at our potential? Are things which we achieve, even in the material world or in the spiritual terrain, are we living life to our potential? A weak mind cannot live life to its potential. Mind has to be made strong. Mind needs the right direction. Today we do not have that in our education system. Specialized subjects may deal with these issues like stress, etc. Someone who's getting stressed at 6th standard, someone who's getting stressed at 7th or 8th standard, is there instructions? Is there content in the manual or in the subject, in the curriculum to address this issue? At 7th standard, people are getting stressed. 8th, 9th, the stress level goes up. Is there anything in our curriculum how to deal with stress? Suicidal tendencies. Is there a motivation to not to go in those directions? Is this addressed in our curriculum today? Specialized subjects may, but in general what we call as education does not cater to all this. We focused on standard of living and simply forgot standard of life. Standard of life is suicidal tendencies. Standard of life is depression. Standard of life is violence against the weak. Is that the standard we have today? What is our life standard? Cannot respect the fellow being? Atrocities? Man eating man? "25 years ago, my guru used to say, Swami Chinmayananji, Gurudev used to say, put your hand on the globe, anywhere in the globe, and see if there are no problems. You rotate the globe and touch any part of the globe, and there will be enough problems. With so much of effort to raise the standard of living, problems are not solved. Problems are intense. Because there is an imbalance. Our educational system, our curriculum, etc. has to bring standard of life. Books like Sadhana Panchakam, which we are going to take for today and tomorrow, will rise our standard of life. Nothing to do with the living, but it will raise the standard of life. Our skills can increase. Our mind, the tenacity can develop to achieve things. Adaptation to different things the world throws at us, we should know to adapt ourselves. Today we don't have adaptation. We are so vulnerable to change that the change happens and we are stuck with it. We do not know how to adapt, how to change and how to move forward. Balance of mind. Chucking out insecurity. Start thinking at the age of third standard, fourth standard. If parenting was not good, might be even earlier, people live with insecurity. Has the curriculum addressed how to handle insecurity? Did anybody teach us? Is there a system where this gets educated? When the teachers go to a B.Ed college, is there a guidance given there that these are the areas the student you need to address? No matter what subject you teach, the person's life is important. You need to guide that person. No. Our curriculums do not address issues like how to deal jealousy. Jealousy is there. How to handle envy. How to handle depression. How to handle insecurity. Now these are reducing the standard of life. Books like Sadhana, Panchakam, etc. would rise the standard of life. Now, the word philosophy, what it means to the Western world and what it means to the Indian world are two different dimensions. In Indian language, philosophy is called darshana. Darshan. Darshan means insight. It's an insight, not sight. Insight. When we go to a temple, we stand in front of the Lord, eyes closed, and then we say, I had a good darshan. Eyes closed. Isn't it? When we are there in front of the Lord, we close our eyes and then only we say, I had a good darshan. Not with eyes open. You understand? So when we are there, it is with eyes closed we say we had good darshan. What does that mean? With eyes closed, I can see. With eyes closed, the idol reflected something within me. Some glimpse of the ideal. Behind the idol, I understood within me. It is not that I saw in the gross eyes. I saw it through my inner eye, insight. Darshan is insight. Education should have darshan. It should give us insights. So we are attempting this thing for today and tomorrow. Why we have chosen this? As I told you, life has become so hectic. People can't find every evening to come. And even if you manage to make time, 5 days, 5 evenings continuously, earlier there were a lot of leisure. Today it is not so. How many people can be available 5 or 6 evenings together without any other commitment? And all commitments, sometimes you have to honor. You have to be, you're responsible. It's not that people, because the life once had a lot of leisure, today we don't have. So these 6 days together and all gets difficult. So we are trying to make small changes. That we will have 6 sessions, like what we generally do for a talk, for a yajna, which we do for a week. We will have 6 sessions in 2 days. You come in the morning, go back by evening, come back next day, go back by evening. 2 days we do. And there would be a great difference in this kind of a learning. One, you are available, it's only 2 days you have given time. Second, there will be a continuity in your thought process. If it happens one lecture this evening, you go back home. You have household work, responsibility at home. The next day you have corporate responsibilities, other responsibilities. Imagine the load of work you take before you come back to the next session. After 24 hours you come back again for the second class. the first class was almost washed out in the mind. Isn't it? The first class is almost washed out. Though we'll try to remember, recollect few things, but it is gone. That won't happen now. Class after class after class. So the receptivity would be very, very high. The retaining ability would be very, very high because the learning now would be intense. Earlier it was intense, but the intensity dissolved with 24 hours activity. So we thought we will try something like this instead of those 6 days talks. Let's do 2-day talks, and that's how we made this attempt. We have tried it in few places, and this is working out well. I think more or less this is going to be the future of mission programs, that we complete a text in 2 days. So this book is a beautiful book written by Adi Shankara. It's called Sadhana Panchakam. Panchakam means a composition of 5 verses. 5 verses talking about sadhana. Can someone tell me what is sadhana? The word sadhana means what?
Effort.
Huh?
Effort.
Effort. Meditation. Effort. Tapas, sadhana means effort. I need to put effort into certain methodology. Those methods, if I attempt, that can develop me to be moving towards the spiritual goal. Standard of life can rise up. So it's a effort. We need to put effort, self-effort. And this is a beautiful composition of 5 verses talking about our effort. What are the things I must put as self-effort, my own efforts to move towards the higher goal, to rise up the standard of life. So we'll have 5 sessions on this text, and then we will have 1 session on question answer. So we can sit and take a Q&A. If any question comes to your mind, please write it down. On the last session, we will take up those questions and see. So that's how we have planned. And this book, as I told you, is written by Adi Shankara. The actor died. Now when you're a child, 3 years old, 4 years old, you don't see the actor, you see the character. For you, Nachiketa is Nachiketa. He's not a boy, like you see Nachiketa. And then you see, the actor as the character. Even today, even the adults do it. Sometimes you go watch a movie and you start crying. You didn't see the actor. You identified with the character. So when the little Shankara saw this boy, this man who acted as Lord Death, passing away, a question came to him. If Lord Death can also die, because in his mind, Lord Death comes and takes away life. Yama comes and takes away others' life. Yama himself died. Now who took his life? For a child to think that way is a beautiful thing. I mean, you imagine the thought process. This young boy thinks, now who took away Lord Yama's death? How did he die? He takes everybody's life. How did he die? Now this was a kind of a quest in him. What is life? These are some of the early signs of him. And even before, when he was not born, his parents were married and they were moving around. You see our culture, how different we have moved for what we were to what we are now. After marriage, the newly wedded couple used to go on a pilgrimage. Why a pilgrimage? The newly married couple used to go on a pilgrimage. And imagine the pilgrimage across India. Where is Kashi and where is Rameshwaram or where is Chardham? You think of the place. They used to go on a pilgrimage because they were very, very clear. The Indian thinking was so clear in the past that the child being born is a gift from the God. I must be prepared to receive it. The equipment must be perfect. So invoking a divine child was an obsession. So they used to do sadhana, go on a tirtha yatra, purify themselves, make themselves fit, then have a child. The mother and the father have made themselves pure by going to these pilgrims, made themselves, tuned to the divine through sadhana, then they have a child. What would be the quality of the child? So when Shankara's father, Shiva Guru, his mother Aryamba was on a tirtha yatra, they were in a place in Kerala called Trishur. There was a temple. There is a temple called Vadakunatha temple, Shiva temple. So when they did tirtha yatra in that area, that night he had a dream. Shiva Guru, Shankara's father, had a dream. The dream was, what kind of a child do you want? Do you want a child who will stay with you and serve you all life? Or you want a child who will live very short but be brilliant? Someone who will be ordinary, who will be with you all life? Or someone who is brilliant but will live shortly? What kind of a child do you want? He had a vision, he had a dream, Shiva talking to him. Imagine how much must be the mind, purified person, that he had this dream that Shiva comes to him in a dream, and the dream is about Lord Shiva, asking him this question, what kind of a child do you want? Next morning, both of them go to the temple, break a coconut, to the Aarti, Sankalpa Puja, and then they say to the Lord, they place their Sankalpa, the request, give us a child who is of a quality, even if short-lived. Look at the aspiration. What kind of a child I need? See the parenting, see the culture. That they pray, give me a child who would be of brilliance, even if short-lived. That's the joy of parenting. That's the joy of bringing up a child. That's the demand from asking the quality of brilliance from the beginning. Now imagine the mindset. That's why in ancient India, after marriage, people went on a pilgrimage and then they got children. All the ladies and gentlemen, don't blame your child anymore. No complaints on your children anymore. Let that be somebody's phone. Let that be very clear. The children you got is the effect of your purification and tapas. So we accept it gracefully, right? Okay. Now this is how Shankara was born to the mother and father who was already tuned towards the divine. And he was born, and this incident triggered more search, quest in him. Until the age of 8, he was with his parents. At 3 or 4, his father passed away. Mother was bringing him up. And when he was 8 years old, now look at this boy. When he was 8 years old, he goes to his mother and says, permit me to take sannyas. If you have asked this to your parents at the age of 8, what do you think? Can I take sannyas? At the age of 8, if you have to ask this, how do you think your parents would have reacted to your suggestion? Or even if your child or a grandchild comes to you, 7 or 8 years old, and says, do you think I should take sannyas? We are scared, right?
Yeah.
The thought is scary. What do you mean, sannyas? I didn't give birth to you to take sannyas. I gave birth to you so that you stay with me till I go. This 8-year-old asked to his mother, permit me, I need to go. It's a call coming within. The mother said, nothing doing, forget it. Go play, something like that. She must have diverted him. But it so happened that once he was swimming in a river and a crocodile, alligator caught hold of Shankara. He was in the jaws of a crocodile, screaming out. He could not wriggle himself free. 8-year-old child. The mother was watching it from the shore, from the banks of the river, saw the child being pulled by the crocodile. At that point, she had this thought in the mind. I should have let him go when he asked sannyas. I should have let him go. I held him back, and now I am losing my child in front of my eyes. When that thought came to her that I should have let him go, something happened. The crocodile released Shankara. He swam across. The mother was a divine lady, very sporting, saw it, and she told Shankara, I think you are destined for something else, you should go. Go ahead with your sannyas. Because the very thought that I should have let him go, when that thought happened, something happened, the crocodile let him off. So she connected, saying, the moment this thought came and he left. Now think of this, that's why I said Shankara must be a national hero. At the age of 8, the boy starts his quest, starts a journey, leaving his mother, the house, his comfort, his security, everything he gives up when he's 8 years old, and walks in finding a teacher. Not that he knew there was a teacher living here, I will go to this person, so and so will be my teacher. He knew I will find a teacher on the way. And starts his journey from 8. He starts from Kerala, Ernakulam, Kaladi, his father's house, and from here he starts. By the way, Shankara's mother's house, where actually Shankara was born, his father's house is in a place called Kaladi in Kerala. His mother's house is in a place called Peruvam. And we have that ashram with us now, where Adi Shankara was born. Gurudev got that property, and we have started a research institute there, and we have started a university there. So from here he walks 8 years, walks from Kerala to Madhya Pradesh. Can you imagine the distance? Look at the map. Where is Kerala, the southern tip? From there to central India. a walk by a 8-year-old child. What must be that journey? What are the things he must have come across? Do you have any idea where he would have got his next food, meal? Just walking. Not sure where you're going to stay, where the next meal is going to come. Now that's how the quest must be. I am ready to face. I may get the food, I may not get the food. I may be a food to a wild animal crossing a river, crossing a forest. But walk. I want to know what the truth is. And he started walking. When he reached the banks of river Narmada, the place is called Omkareshwar. Between Indore and Bhopal, you find this place. He found his guru there, Govindapad. He stayed with his guru next 8 years. The river Narmada must have inspired Shankara a lot, because that's where he would be going to take bath, stay there, studied under the banks of river Narmada. His Narmada Ashtakam is a very inspiring composition of Shankara. Talks the glory of the river. Shankara loved nature, ecology. He glorifies rivers like mothers, makes it look divine. He glorifies mountains. He glorifies rivers. And he lived in the banks of Narmada with his guru for 8 years. When he was 16, he completed his studies. Whatever he has to learn, the guru taught him for 8 years. At 16, when he completes his education, he goes to the guru and says, can I write commentaries on Prasthanatraya, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Brahma Sutra? I'm sure very, very few people here would have read Brahma Sutra. Upanishad, some Upanishad people would have read here. Gita, I'm sure little more detailed study would have happened too. These are considered as the books of authority on spiritual insights. Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. These are seen as the books of authority. And this 16-year-old teenager goes to his guru and says, can I write a commentary on it? For us to read and understand is hard. We do not know whether it is poetically uttered or whether it is factually uttered, because our philosophy is written with poetry and fact and factual. So we have a combination of both. So this boy goes and says, I want to write commentary on all these three. The guru did not accept immediately. He said, no need, you go slow. You're trying to do too fast. Straight away to write commentary on this? No. You write commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama. Please remember this. This is important. He tells him, you write commentary on Vishnu Sahasranama. Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Vishnu, which Bhishma told Yudhishthir. Bhishma utters 1,000 names of Vishnu. Meditate upon these names. Take any of those names. Start contemplating. You would move in that direction. 1,000 methods, 1,000 options to turn our mind towards the Lord. Now please think, look at the depth of this literature. The depth of our culture. I'm talking about the heritage which we belong to. The depth of it, which gives us 1,000 options. Each option can make you think towards the higher. You take a name and you start contemplating on that name. It moves you towards the higher. If 1,000 options are there, then how well The depth must be to accommodate different types of temperaments of the human beings. Not all of us have the same aptitude. Not all of us have the same temperament. Each one come from different background. Each one has a different way of thinking. Each one appreciates different points. It's not the same thing everyone appreciates. Our rishis have understood that options are a must, a mandatory for a seeker. And they have given these 1,000 options to contemplate. So Shankara's guru, Govindapada, tells him, take this book, write commentary. So he goes out to write commentary on these 1,000 names. It's a brilliant commentary. The book is available. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji has also written commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam, almost referring to everything what Shankara has said. It's such a beautiful composition. And each name can guide us. You should take this book as sadhana, I'm telling you sometime. You should take this book. We are good at reciting these names. Vishnu Sahasranam Parayan happens, all of us recite the names. Shukla, Ambarodharam, Vishnu, Shashivarnam. We go on that. That we do. But please take a name and contemplate. What does this name mean? Why does Vishnu have this name? Why? What is the nature or characteristics this name indicates? This way, at your leisure, don't rush through. At your leisure, if you take 4 or 5 names and start looking at Vishnu that way, Vishnu, the reality, the spirit, the Atman, the Brahman, the pure consciousness, start looking at it that way, at your leisure. Imagine what will be your depth when you complete that book that way. Not reciting, contemplating on each names, reflecting on each names. Just take one name, start contemplating upon it. Why is Vishnu called this way? The commentary is saying. Okay, the next name, why is he called this way? This way, if you see the truth in 1,000 dimensions, 1,000 methods, what would be your depth after that? Do you understand what one single book can do to us? So his guru gave this book, Govindapada gave this book to Shankara saying, write commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam. And Shankara wrote the commentary, and the commentary was so brilliant. Immediately Govindapada told him, the Acharya said, you write whatever you want, but please preserve. Whatever you straight away, after looking at the commentary on Vishnu Sahasranam, a complete paradigm shift of thinking he gave through those names. He said, now you write, you are given permission to write anything you like. Whatever you write, not only the commentaries on these 3 books, any other composition, what you do, please preserve. Because the teacher must have felt there is a divine will flowing through Shankara. There's something which is coming out of him, a flow which happens, very, very natural, spontaneous. It's not squeezing a mind to bring out a thought. It is very spontaneous, a fit instrument. So the teacher permits. From the age of 8 till 8, he was with his father and mother. From 9 to 16, he was with his guru. From 17 to 32, 16 years, he wrote commentaries and also traveled. This one man traveled across India 4 times, length and the breadth, 4 times. The India what he traveled includes Kailash Mansarovar, that was all part of India. The greater India which we had once upon a time. The land which we have lost today is much more than the land which we have preserved. If you look at greater India, when you start looking at what is that map which was India once upon a time, the land lost is more than the land retained. Very careless, wrong policies. Somewhere we have lost. So that kind of India, Shankara traveled across length and breadth 4 times. How many kilometers do you think you can walk daily? Maybe 20, max 15, 20. In a day, stop 25. And then you have to meet people. He worked on the revival of the nation. He worked very strategically. It is Shankara who brought better puja vidhi to us, the way in which we can do. It is Shankara who systemized the schools of sannyas, 10 schools of sannyas, Saraswati, Giri, Tirtha, Vanam, like that. It is Shankara who established mutts in 4 corners of India. It is he who renovated most of the temples. Places like Badrinath, Kedarnath, even the idols were lost in the rivers. He knew this is where the idol was, intuitive. I'll say, let's go there and take up the idol, re-establish it. He put yantras in many of the temples, including Tirupati. Shankara placed Dhana yantra in Tirupati. Do you understand what that means? A sankalpa of that master. He places a Dhana yantra in Tirupati. Till date, that is the richest temple. Look at the wealth rotating there. And that way, if you see, he wrote commentaries on the Gita, he wrote commentaries on the Upanishad, he wrote commentaries on the Brahma Sutra, composed any number of verses, hymns, slokas, plus rituals were organized correctly, gave the significance to it. Temples were renovated. Strategically across built mutts, built a team which can follow up the work, inspired people across the globe, across the country. In his time when Shankara came up, Hinduism was divided into 75 schools of thought. Each school trying to compete with the other school. Each school trying to show I am superior than you. There were divisions of 75 layers. Each one confronting one another, not complementing. Confronting, trying to establish. And 80% of India was under Buddhist. 80% the land got changed into Buddhism. They were all Hindus once upon a time. Buddha came upon, Hinduism not properly practiced. People changed into Buddhism. 100% Hindu land became almost 80% Buddhist followers. And when Shankara came, he changed this 80% population to Hinduism again. Like what Buddha did, reverse side Shankara did. For one individual to do that, please think. And to convince the 75 schools of thought, what must be his personality? And he was a teenager, 17 when he started this work. If a 17 or an 18-year-old or even a 19-year-old has to call you for a dialogue, how serious would you be for a dialogue to sit with a person? If an 18-year-old comes and says, okay, can we sit and debate on Vedanta? We don't pay attention. But he was a personality like that. Moved length, breadth of the country 4 times. Changed people's thinking. To make an alteration here is the hardest thing. To make an alteration outside is not that easy. It's not that difficult. We can just do it. Outside work is always easy. Inside work is always hard. Working at the effect level is so easy. Everybody can do. Isn't it? Think. Somebody is living in poverty. Someone is not well. Building a hospital. Building an orphanage. These are very easy jobs. But to prevent people becoming orphans is a cost. One is effect. Why people are orphans? Why there are destitutes? Family values have gone off. Families do not care anymore. Families do not want to take responsibilities. As a result, the effect is orphanage. Drug addiction. To build a drug addiction center to get them free from drug addiction, these are easy because they are effect oriented. To prevent drug addiction, what level of value systems we must put into the minds of people? They do not misbehave. They do not wave off into these kind of habits. Please think, I want you all to think. If organizations like Ramakrishna Mission, Chinmaya Mission, all others like Amritanandamayi, Ravi Shankar, various organizations, I'm not taking names because it will go on. If these kind of spiritual organizations are not there in India, do you understand how much of more rape would be in this country? How much of more drugs would be in this country? How much of more broken families, destitutes would be in this country? Do we associate that these organizations prevent even before they manifest? Are we even aware of it? It is these organizations which are going and re-establishing values in the system, giving a direction for a better life, trying to raise the standard of life. So these thoughts which they come, imagine these organizations are not there. The crime rate can be much more higher. Working at a cost level, not all can notice. Working at the effect level, everybody can see. Shankara worked at the cost level. Absolutely subtle work. Such a subtle work that was. Not cross eyes to see. And he transformed 80% of India back to Hinduism. That's why it's one of the top brains the world has ever seen. And his birthday is not a national day. Isn't it? Now the government is trying. They have announced Philosopher's Day. That is very good, but it's still not popular. Not all people will know. Who are our heroes? To what are we giving values? A 25-year-old captain died 2 days back in Jammu and Kashmir fighting for a cause. Vinod Khanna also died on the same day. Who got the coverage? Who was focused? A 70-year-old actor dying and a 24-year-old younger captain dying. Which is our value system? Whom did we respect? I'm not denying Vinod Khanna's contribution or the recognition what he got or the coverage, the channels, the papers, people speaking about it, the posts on the Facebook, Twitter. I am not saying Vinod Khanna does not deserve them. I'm not talking about it. But the captain who died deserves it, did not get it. It's not why Vinod Khanna got it is not my point, but why the captain did not get it. Value system. We need to recognize substance. Our country is not recognizing substance. Shankara is a man of substance. How many people even will know his birthday? Is Shankara Jayanti celebrated? Which should have been a celebration across the nation for a brilliant Indian. A national hero, a teenager, a youth icon. At 32 he dropped his body. All that what he did was from 17 to 32, 16 years he did what he has to do. Revived. The Renaissance happened, put everybody on track, did his job, went near Kedarnath, and that's where they last saw him. No idea what happened to him after that. So it is said at 32 he left. Just walked away. Disappeared. There is a temple in Kedarnath. They say this is Shankaracharya's Samadhi. It's not a Samadhi, that's where they last saw him. Mystery. But someone who did this much to the country, is he an icon? Do you refer him as a child hero? As a youth icon? As a youth hero? If we don't do this in our country, you think somebody else is going to do? It's not why we are not doing it. We are not even aware. That is the saddest part. It's not that we do not want to do it. We are not even aware. Now, can you imagine someone so powerful, mighty, precious, and anybody coming into the path of spirituality, study of Vedanta, will always consider Shankara as an authority because he has systemized everything for us. We don't. So this brilliant brain has written this book, Sadhana Panchakam. 5 verses on what are the self-efforts we need to make to reach the truth. More of it. The first verse of Sadhana Panchakam. Thank you.
Today and tomorrow is a very auspicious day. We are very lucky that we are organizing this program for today. I, on behalf of Chinmaya Mission, there is no word of thanks. Still, Swamiji has come long way. He is coming regularly, and especially he has come long way from Chennai. He will be here for 2 days. So, on behalf of Chinmaya Mission, we offer our heartiest thanks to him. And secondly, from Chinmaya Mission, we thank all the participants, all the members who has come on the morning 9, and I hope they will be hearing Swamiji for 2 days. Special thanks to the donors, State Bank of India, and press and others who are contributing to this program, and we hope that this will benefit all of us. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, B.L. Agarwalji. Our inaugural function is over here. Now the time for tea break. I request all of you to proceed for tea and assemble here after 10-15 minutes for the main session. Hari Om.
Pure ambience here. Gurudeva tava mahaniya kripa. Gurudeva tava mahaniya kripa. Mere jeevan ka avalamban hai bas Mahaniya कृपा गुरुदेव तव महनीय कृपा पल 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 जीवन पथ पर गुरु साथ मेरे रक्षक बन कर पल पल पग पग जीवन पथ पर गुरु प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा बिसरो न कभी प्रेममयी आनंदमयी भवदीय कृपा देव तव महनीय कृपा महनीय कृपा महनीय कृपा। बोलिए श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। बोलिए आदि शंकर भगवान की जय।
Not many people understood him, and imagine what must be the wisdom of such a person. And here in this book of 5 verses, he gives 8 instructions in each verse. Some of would be little similar or repeat, but these are very important instructions we need to follow. So, can someone check?
वेदो नित्यमधीयताम् तदुदितं कर्म स्वनुष्ठिता कर्म स्वनुष्ठीयतां तेनेशस्य विधीयतामपचितिः तेनेशस्य विधीयतामपचितिः काम्ये मतिस्त्यजतां काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यताम् काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यताम्
मतिस्त्यज्यताम्
काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यताम् काम्ये मतिस्त्यज्यताम् पापौधपरिधूयताम् पापौधपरिधूयताम् भवसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयताम् भवसुखे दोषोऽनुसन्धीयताम् आत्मेच्छाव्यवसीयताम् आत्मेच्छाव्यवसीयताम् निजगृहात्तूर्णविनिर्गम्यताम् निजगृहात्तूर्णविनिर्गम्यताम्
वेदो नित्यमधीयताम् तदुदितं कर्म स्वनुष्ठीयताम् Vedo nityam adhiyatam. The first point, Shankara says here, Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Study of Vedas daily. Veda means knowledge. Who's talking? Crew? Yeah. Veda means knowledge. The authors of Veda, some of them have revealed their names, many have not revealed their names. Now that is the beauty of our culture. We see the entire universe as one family, my own extension. People are of my own people. See, when you do something, let us say you did something, if you have to extend it to your family, you would be most forthcoming to do it. You will not demand a patent or a copyright if you have to share it with your family. Do you understand? You did something beautiful, and you want to give it to your family, you just give it. There is no question of, like going out and patenting it and, copywriting it and all that. So the rishis who were there, in their seat of meditation, when they were quiet, different things revealed to them. They are not born out of human intellect. It came when the human intellect itself was silent. Those are revelations. How do you think, without any modern equipments, without satellites, without GPS, without telescopes, how do you think people measure the size of the earth? Brahmagupta told us what is the size of the earth, diameter of the earth. Yajnavalkya said what is the distance between the sun and the earth. And they are all precise. 7,008 miles is the diameter of the earth, is Brahmagupta's revelation. Yajnavalkya said the distance between the sun and the earth are 108 suns. If you place, that would be the distance. Now please think, how did they know? Or they could even say, what is the color of a particular planet? What is the color of a particular, what is the size of the planet? At what speed it revolves? With the naked eye. These are not the knowledge born out of human intellect. These knowledge came to them when the human intellect was silenced. Naturally, when the human intellect was silenced and something reflected to them, they did not claim ownership. They did not say, I wrote it. They said, this came to me, it's God's. So they did not even claim authorship. So most of the mantras of the Vedas, we do not know who wrote it. Now that was their humility, simplicity, honesty. They were driven by pure love for the entire universe because they saw the entire universe as one family, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. They did not see it as separate. You would never do a copyright issue to your own family. Would you ask for a patent to your son if he has to use something what you did? Never. You just give because it's your family. Come on, you enjoy what I have. You get the point. If we see someone as other, then we will have these laws. In ancient India, the wisdom was such that we saw the entire universe as one family. That's why, for various things which we offer to the world, like turmeric, the benefit of turmeric, how often, since when are we using turmeric? Every Friday when a woman has a head bath, turmeric plays a vital role. Apply on the skin. Today people patent turmeric. We have used it for since when? You take any of those beautiful discoveries which we have done, we have left it for years together. The umbilical cord, when you're born, which hangs out, which is cut. Today it is very highly preserved in ice packs, in refrigeration. Keep it because if there are certain diseases, including cancer and stuff like that, if they can take something from it and create it as a medicine, you get cured completely. It was hanging and we did not know why. Ancient India, they used to cut it, powder it through a process, make a talisman. Either on the neck or in the hip they used to tie it. It's like a personal DNA seal. When someone is sick, probably you have to open the talisman, take a bit of it, rub it or do whatever you have to do, the person gets cured. Umbilical cord is of a great value today. Village science it was in India. Not the educated village science. They used to cut it, powder it, put it in a talisman and tie it across the hip or in the neck. Means let it be in your body. If you are in an unknown place, you have fallen sick and people do not know what to do. Something like a blood group, when you go on a journey, you write. It's like that. Take the talisman. That must be the best cure for it. Today people have understood. This is the latest thing. We had thousands. So how people understood certain things were revelations, and we did not patent, because with whom are you going to patent? With your own family? And the world is one universal family. Our vision was that from the beginning. That's why we did not limit ourselves to anything, and a heavy price also we paid for it. We did not have a defense system to guard ourselves. We were exposed, we were invaded, and all that happened, and we were just looking at the other person as our own family. The price of it we paid, but the thought was very, very noble. So, Vedo Nityam Adhyatam, these Vedas were written by people who did not even claim their name. They did not make a claim of their name, they just gave it. Given to the world. So we do not know who wrote the Vedas, except few references are here and there. This must be the Rishi, that must be the reference. But none of those Rishis claimed. So we have a holy book where author is not known. Do you understand? The Indian holy book, the Hindu holy book, the Vedas, authors is not known. And it is not one single author. It is collective. Just like science, not one single man can be an authority on science. Different scientists are required. Their observations are compiled together. That's what we call a science. Vedas were written by many, many rishis. What they have said is compiled together, and that becomes the book Veda. So the author is not known, or the authors are not known, but they are a book of brilliance. Imagine this book goes to 10,000-12,000 BCE. It's not a text of today. Something is preserved for this many thousand of years. Please think. This many thousand of years, this book is being preserved. What must be the validity of that knowledge for it to survive this many years? And that too it survived when we did not have the written style of writing, documenting. We had an oral tradition of documenting. Please understand. For very many thousands of years, one generation used to memorize, hand over to the next generation. Through memory, the knowledge was transferred. One to another. One generation to another. Written documentation was not there. Written documentation came much later. Vedas were always a verbal transfer from one generation to another. So that way it is preserved. It's a great text. So Shankara says, read Vedas daily. Now Vedas are too voluminous to read daily. He did not mean that way. What he meant here is, read the spirit of Vedas daily. Commit to spiritual study daily. That's what he meant. Vedas are too voluminous. If we have time, we can revel in them. Different topics are there. Some of them are direct to divine. Some of them talking about the nature. Some of them are talking about the planets. They talk about various things, including metallurgy. In Rig Veda, there are mantras which talk about seafarers. So it's not just talking about divinity alone. It talks about different subjects. So if one who's got time can revel in those books. But as we discussed, leisure is supposed to be very rare nowadays. We are lost. We don't have time. And our days are so tightly packed. Where would we have time to revel? So in that case, how we understand this is, read spiritual literature daily. Choose some of those books. It can be books like the Upanishads. It can be books like the Gita. Or it can be books like what Shankara wrote as Vivek Chudamani, etc. Or it can be Das Bodh of Samarth Ramdas. It can be different masters who have written. It can be complete works of Vivekananda. It can be original works of Swami Chinmayananda. It can be Ramana Maharishi. It can be anybody. Spiritual literature which inspires you. That kind of a book, please read daily. Vedo Nityam Adiyata. Nitya, daily. Every day commit to spiritual study. Do not ignore this. Do not ignore this. Keep a specific time, sit and listen. Read. So that we reflect. That is mandatory, it is important like any other things in a day which you consider important. Going to office is important. Taking up your corporate responsibilities are important. Looking after your family is important. Committing to different social work you take up is important. More important than all this is your own self-unfoldment. Your own progress. One's own growth. That is more important. That is the purpose for which we are born. Do not ignore that. Commit to spiritual study daily. Now, from today, we must start. As we end today, tomorrow, even before you come, being Shankara Jayanti, tomorrow you start tomorrow. We follow this, what Shankara has told us. Every day, we commit to spiritual study. Whichever book inspires you. Be it Bhagavad Gita, be it Ram Gita, be it Ashtavakra Gita, Kapila Gita, there are enough books. We have a huge library of books. Choose them, commit daily. The daily study for 15-20 minutes can be of a great inspiration. It makes our mind turn towards the higher and keep us, one part of our mind will be focused on it. Today what happens is we keep forgetting the goal of life very soon. Every now and then we forget the goal of life. We simply forget. Because something or other is so important, it takes us, and why we are born, what we want to do, we forget. A daily study will keep us anchored, will keep us rooted, will keep us focused on it. So we need to commit to daily study. Every day commit to study. Vedo Nityam Adiyata. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, but daily. Lot of effort. We are also trying to make it simplify, keeping the busy people in mind. We have been working on, like I'm sure some of you must be getting, we send every day some 4-5 minutes talk of Gurudev's.
Spiritually camp.
Huh?
Spiritually camp.
Huh. So we are sending a video talk on the Bhagavad Gita for, this talk will not be more than 4-5 minutes. What Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda spoke on the Gita. And it's been like now we have reached 140 talks are over, 5 minutes or 4 minutes. Those who are interested to receive it, you can leave your names, we will send it through WhatsApp. And now this is also a good study, Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, keeping this vision only in mind. Because every day you have to listen to 5 minutes. The talk is in English with subtitles. Imagine the effort has gone behind converting the talk into subtitles and then clipping it, cutting it down and sending it so that every day people can stay inspired. So those who are interested can leave your phone numbers and this talk can be sent to this group regularly. So that way, with different methods, if it can be a talk, it can be a reading a book, we must commit to spiritual study daily. Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, because that way we will stay focused. Otherwise we can get distracted with hundreds of things. The goal of life can be forgotten because the search and the focus is on the way of life. To establish a different way of life, standard of living. So the entire energy goes into the standard of living. In the process we forget standard of life. Reading daily will rise the standard of life. It's a very simple instruction, but the success of it is immense if you apply it in your daily life. What we do, in the past what we did is, when people knew Sanskrit well, you just chant, you know the meaning. You just chant and then it's reflection. So it came into us as parayana. So chanting, if I chant, I know the meaning and then I revel, it is equal to study. But if I do not know the meaning, I have only memorized chanting, that is not going to help us at all. It is good as far as chanting is concerned. The benefits of it is minimum. But if you can reflect upon what you chant, the benefits are immense. Great benefits. So that's how that Veda Parayana was coming. Veda Parayana means reciting the Vedas, but the people know the meaning. They know the meaning when they recite. Today we do not know the meaning, we only recite. So the benefit of reciting is very minimum. But if you know the meaning and reflect, it would be deep. It is the same instruction. Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Study the Vedas daily and perform diligently the duties prescribed in it. Second point, Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Tatudidam karma swanushthiyatam. Karma swanushthiyatam. Whatever karma, the instructions given, practice which we must, he says, diligently perform the duties ordained by them. Nitya karma, naimitya karma, kamya karma, different duties we have. Now please think, this is second, it's also a beautiful instruction. Tatuditam karma swanushthiyatam. Now all of us play different roles. You play a role of a mother, you play a role of a daughter, you play a role of a sister, friend, teacher, father, brother, son, grandfather. See the roles we play. So each one of us play multiple roles with relation to different people. And we also play a role as a citizen of the country, as a citizen of the universe. We have a role, we have a duty to all these people whom we connect, plus we have a duty to earth. We have a duty to environment. We have forgotten. This Rina we have forgotten. We don't think we have any duty to the world. Don't you think we have duties to the rivers? Don't you think we have duties to the environment? Nature? We have definite duties to all this. We have forgotten many of our duties. At the most, we think of our duties connected to the family and to the employer to whom I get employed and I work. Beyond that, we don't think there is a duty. All other thing looks like, if you have time, optional. Taking care of nature is optional duty. Taking care of family is primary duty. What is our mindset? Duty towards the country looks optional, right? Can that be optional? A wrong understanding. Taking care of rivers, the nature, trees, plants is not an optional duty. We must feel it is a primary duty. But somewhere we have got into taking care of family is my primary duty. Every other thing is optional. It is not optional, my friend. It is not optional. That wrong understanding has ruined us. Imagine the damage the mankind has done upon this earth. Unless we mend our ways, what future does the earth has? Simple things also we keep, we have forgotten. If we are duty conscious, that I have a duty towards earth, I would be very careful in using recycled products. Simple consciousness, I'm only saying. It is not an option, you are not doing a favor. You realize it's my duty to guard the earth. If this idea, protecting nature to various other things, if it is not taught to us from childhood, from home onwards, from parenting at home to the primary school, up to the high school. If it is not taught to us, we think all these are optional. I have an option. No, wrong understanding. That's why it is called Samajarani, Rina. Rina to the society, to the environment. Rishi Rina, to the Parampara who gave this knowledge to us. How many people must have memorized this at one point of time? Today we have it at the fingertips, right? How many people must have memorized it and maintained it for us to have this today? All I have to do is click Google and it comes today. But please think, even Google, if you see, how many people have put effort to load it in the Google so that I can search for it? We must be grateful. So karma is not an option. It is duty which we have to do for everybody. Tatuditam karma sonushthiyatam. So we have a duty. Now please take this up. Personally see what you can do. And in parenting the next generation, bring this up again and again and make them realize this is not an option. This is a primary duty of a person. Then the child will grow up saying, I need to plant trees. I need to use recycled goods. I should not waste various things like electricity to various things when it is not required. That consciousness will be there. Otherwise we are not conscious because we think these are optional. Keeping the environment cleaner. Is that optional or is it primary? Am I not a victim of disease if my environment is not clean? It's primary. So most of these primary nitya karma, we are seeing it as optional. We should not see it. So Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Read Vedas daily and follow the instructions given in the Vedas. I'll tell you in Veda, when a woodcutter cuts the tree because he needs wood, he cuts the tree, he stops before cutting the tree, pauses, prays, thanks the tree. I'm sorry I have to cut you out for my living, but I promise to take care of your children. Meaning, I will plant more trees. For what I cut, I will plant more trees. Woodcutter. We did not look at nature as non-living creatures. Mahabharata, it is so beautiful when Shakuntala walks out from her forest house. She was living in the woods with her father. And then when she goes to the palace, she's moving out from her place where she lived in a forest. She goes to the creepers and thanks the creeper. She calls the birds and thanks the birds. She calls the river, thanks the river. It may look funny today, isn't it? But it did make. It's not that you have a conversation and they respond to you, but you treat them as if they are your family, living. So she went to the creeper and said, you added joy to my life, thank you. She went to the river and said, you played a role in my coming up, in my upbringing. I thank you. I'm leaving this and I'm going to my husband's house. This place I am moving away. I'm offering my gratitude to all the living creatures. Why would a rishi write that? Earth itself we call Mother Earth, right? That's the ancient approach. Today it is like conquer Earth. What is Mother Earth and conquer Earth? Do you see the difference in approach? Conquer Earth. No. She is a mother. Respect her. The approach itself was very different in the past. So we have a commitment to all this. Plus the daily sadhana, etc. Personally one has to do to grow. So Vedo nityam adhiyatam, tatuditam karma swanushtiyatam, teneshasya vidiyatam. Dedicate all these karmas as your worship to the Lord. Now we are third point. First point, read Vedas daily. Second point, whatever instructions are there as daily duties, as special duties, occasional duties, which I need to do to me, my family, my friends, my environment, my earth, I need to do, let me do. Now these duties which I am performing, which includes taking care of the family, taking care of the environment, etc., Shankara says, do it as a dedication to the Lord. Don't do it as with an idea of arrogance that I am doing all this. Like an act of charity. No. It's not an act of charity. It is an act of responsibility. Do these karmas as dedication to the Lord. Dineshas. To the Isha, the Lord, dedicated. Your duties then becomes prayer. Please think, we don't need any other method of prayer afterwards. This is sufficient. If all my daily duties, taking care of my children, taking care of my parents, taking care of the social responsibilities which we have, if I dedicate all those, that is good enough as a prayer. We don't need another method of praying. This prayer is good enough. Now, how much more one can be told? See, what is our idea of praying today? Do a havan, go to a temple, ring a bell, offer a flower. Yes, they are also methods. Not that is the only method. Let's be clear. They are also methods, effective methods. It suits in the different temperament of the mind. When you go and offer a flower at the feet of the Lord, it's a great healing experience. When you go there with the right thing, with the right understanding, you ring a bell, it's a great healing experience. But they are not the only methods of prayer. Your action can be a prayer. How much more prayer can be simplified? Our own actions, the daily duties, what I do, can become prayer. You take care of your parents sincerely, as best as you can, prayer. Give your best to your children, prayer. Take care of the environment around you, prayer. Work can become worship if we dedicate that work to the Lord. Work becomes worship. Duty becomes prayer if we dedicate it to the Lord. Dedication is very simple. Saying, thank you, God. You gave me this responsibility. I have been benefited by it. In my own way, I take care of all this. Taking care of your creation, of people, beings around me, living and non-living around me, is my prayer to you. You created them. You have given such a wonderful environment of living and non-living beings and things around me. Let me take care of them to the best because they all played a role in my growth. With that attitude, taking care of it is prayer. How many people have reached God that way? You must have heard the story of Pundalik. Panduranga. He was a young boy who was taking care of his parents. He was a potter. He was doing his job. God came there. He said, I have to take care of these things. This is for my family. I'm doing. You wait. And he made the Lord wait and he continued with his work. These are examples. It's not that you have to run to God. Please understand. What you have to do it well with dedication. God will come after you. most powerful method of invoking. What is divine will dawn on us. The divine will descend to us. We don't have to seek, we don't have to beg, we don't have to plead. Today we do all that. Begging and pleading and it's not that. He has given us the ability. Let's do what we have to do with a sense of responsibility and dedication. The divine would descend to us. The divine would come to us. Prayer is of a great self-respect. But unfortunately it has turned out to be something very different today. That he is the giver and I am a beggar, helpless, begging. No, that's not prayer. Please don't teach children that way. Teach children self-respect. Teach children invoke God through work. Let the God come to you that way. You just do what you have to do. And it becomes so much better. Tene shasya vidiyatam. Dedicate all these karmas as the worship of God. Then the fourth point he says, renounce all selfish desires, kamya, parityajatam. Selfish desires in the mind. See, duty is very important. Just don't mix up duty and desire here. Many a times we mistake both. Duty is something which you cannot ignore, you have to do. So taking care of children is not a desire, it is duty. Taking care of environment is not a desire, it is duty. Rising wealth to maintain the environment is not a desire, it is duty. Prosperity is not a desire, it is duty. But do it in that spirit. So apart from this unwanted desires which comes and sits in our head, parityajatam, drop it. Please think. Please think. Half of your desires may not be the desires you are born with. The desires you are born with will just come out of you. Because you are born with it. Prarabdha karma will push it and make it unfold. There's no option. But some of it are we dragged from others and put it into our head. Avoid this. In the 6th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Sankalpa. This unwanted imaginary things which we desire, stop it. Please think. I had a young boy who came to me once. He studied in our school, Chinmaya Vidyalaya. He was playing for the school cricket team, was quite good. And somewhere in 11th or 12th standard, or even after that, his parents brought him to me when he was finishing college. Now this guy wants to play soccer in England. Play football in England. So there he wants to go join. Do you understand what would be the fees? What would be the expenses involved? It is not a scholarship. So they brought him to me saying, Swamiji, put sense to him. He's like this, please do something, talk to him. I made him sit and I said, please tell me. Because I know you play for the school team. You played for the school team, you were good. Because now and then I meet this boy, so I would know. When did this desire come into your head? Because from childhood you never showed interest. You were not even part of the school football team. You played another sport altogether. Somewhere in 11th or 12th he saw World Cup soccer, people playing, and this and that he saw, and suddenly a taste came. And now you feel this is mine. I also will go. In India you play, I said, I'll go straight. My parents have to support my playing football in England. I said, they have to sell their house, property. What are you talking? I said, you are still passionate, at least prove it in Indian level. Rise up to some level at India, and then we can see if you are competing good enough, then one can even talk about it. Now this desire probably was not his at all. Because he never showed any interest towards it from childhood. At the graduation level you pick up something. How many of us do things like that? Football could be for otherwise just think. You may not have that desire at all. Your neighbor buys something and then now you also suddenly feel like I also should have it. Till your neighbor bought it or your cousin bought it, that was not part of you at all. Think. I send SMS, okay. I read mail, okay. I can send messages in WhatsApp. I can browse. Beyond this, do you use your iPhone for anything? If the next feature has come, do you use it? Is it for your daily use? Desire? Someone else has bought. I tell you, we can cheat you very easily. Put the iPhone 3 inside iPhone 7, pack it up, only the case has to look like 7, that's all you need. You can also show others, iPhone 7. The features doesn't matter. What is it for? Symbol, desire, status symbol, someone. And it's not cool if I don't have the latest, I'm outdated. What is this notion? I was in Hong Kong when they released iPhone 6. The long queues to buy the phone in premium. Not the cost price, premium. And people used to get thrilled. Like what? Today my name was picked in the lot to pay more. Okay. Basically after 1 week you're outdated, man. Anybody can go buy that phone. But within a week I have got it. So you have to pay more premium and your name was picked up and you're so proud. Today my name was picked up in the morning. Evening if I go, I can get this phone. In a week's time or 10 days time, it would be available without a premium. But those 10 days, I can flash to others. I have got the latest. What desire is this? How many useless desires we have which is not even ours? Kareena Kapoor. What's her husband's name? Huh? Saif Ali Khan. They had a son. Huh? Taimur. Vedo Nityam Adhyata. Read Vedas daily. No. I won't read all that daily. All that I can't understand. This information, the son's name is Taimur, is relevant information, which will make me grow from human to divine, which will take me to God. How much of useless, unwanted stuff we desire, we gather, we collect. Please think. How much useless stuff which is not required at all to me, makes no sense to me, it doesn't, but I gather, be it information, be it objects, we go on collecting. When will I clear this from my head? These which are not required, when will I get rid of them? Think. Many desires which we have, we don't need them at all. They are redundant, but we keep desiring. So he says, get rid of these from the mind. Parityajatam. Half of it. So simple way which can help you to deal with this is, when a desire comes to your mind, please remember what I'm telling you. When a desire pops up in your mind, ask few questions. This will help you. Ask few questions. First question. How long will this desire keep me happy? First question. I have a desire to have something. I'm going to struggle, work hard to accumulate it, to gather it. It's going to be a lot of effort from my side to get it. First ask yourself, okay, I have to put so much of effort to get this. If I get it, how long will this desire keep me happy? Because a desire has an ability to delude you, to make you believe once you get it, you will be happy forever. That's the illusion attached with the desire. We get deluded there. I think if I get this, that's it, I will be happy. So till I get it, I am very restless. So I want it at any cost. I run after it to get it. So before running after the desire, ask yourself, if I get this desire, how long will I be happy with it? First question. How long will I stay happy once I get this desire? Question number 1. Question number 2. Do I need it? Question number 3. Can I live without it? 3 questions. How long will I be happy after getting it? First question. Second question, do I actually need it? Third question, can I live without it? If these 3 questions are answered, half of the desires would not trouble us at all. Because I know it, I don't need it at all, but okay, it can make me happy. How long? Probably this much of time. It's not something I'll be happy. Can I say if I get this desire, I'll be continuously happy for a month? Can we say that? It's not possible. It's just an obsession in the mind which makes you feel you are incomplete without it. That's what a desire does. It creates some craving in you by which you feel you are incomplete. You need that to feel complete. But that's an illusion. It can't give you a feeling of completeness. That's why the third question is necessary. Can I live without it? Then I realize I'm still complete without it. That way, with clarity, if you take desires, it's fine. Without clarity, running into a desire is suicidal. Don't do that. So he says here, wash away, renounce all the desires from the mind. Kamya parityajyatam. And then he says, point 5, wash away the hordes of sins in the bosom. Papahuka pariduyata. Wash away the hordes of sins. An action which we perform is not complete without the result of that action. Result of an action is not immediately as the action ends. Even in a, let's say, the fastest man, 100 meters race. You choose the fastest man on earth, Olympics. You run 100 meters. You win that moment of glory. The medal for what you have won comes much later. They will test your urine. See if you are drugged. Even after that, some of the long distance runners, once they go, they have to sit quietly because they are so drained out. There is nothing for them to bring it out. They have to wait 5-6 hours sometimes. All those are tested. Oh yes, fine. There was no drug or false instigations used on it. Now you are the champion. A result takes time. It is not immediately after action. Some results take time. So karma is not, when I perform, the karma is not over. Karma is over only with a result. Every action has its own result. So it is very, very important that I am very sensitive to this part of it. And please guide your children, please guide them. Because if you don't do it, you fail as a parent. The child has to be told. Some results are immediate, some results will take time. Therefore, choose the actions which can give you only good results. Perform things which can only bring merit to you. Do not perform things, you may not get the punishment or the consequence immediately, but some other time it will come. You may not get it immediately, but at another time it will come. A result of an action is not just when the action gets over, the result takes time. There's a very powerful story in the Mahabharata. Dhritarashtra will ask Krishna, why my 100 children died in front of me? Why? What did I do for my 100 kids to die in front of me? Bhima killed all 100 of them. Why did this happen in front of me in my lifetime? So Krishna says, Dhritarashtra, once you were a hunter 50 lives before. You were a hunter. You were trying to shoot a bird, the bird escaped. And out of anger, you smashed the eggs, 100 of them. That is the reason. So Dhritarashtra looks at Krishna and says, why 50 lives for it? I should have got it immediately. I killed. But why 50 lives? I have to go through 50 lives before I was a hunter. Why did I go through 50 lives to get this? Krishna says, to have 100 children, you need punya. To accumulate punya, to have 100 children, you need 50 lives. Only a king can afford 100 children. So you need to be a king. You understand? And to have 100 children, you will not get that merit straight away. So you have to accumulate punya to get 100 children and then wash off that karma what you did. Karma is very subtle. Please understand. Nobody can dodge it. We cannot dodge karma. We cannot escape it. My action has its consequence. I will face it. We cannot escape. Please make your children aware, because it's a misnomer, a wrong understanding has gone into everybody's mind that some of this karma would go away unnoticed. It doesn't matter because I don't see the result immediately. I don't see the result immediately. So what? I did so many things, I was not punished for it till now. So what? That's the mindset. And then we see people also. This guy is such a criminal record, but he's not getting punished. You have no idea how much of punya he has accumulated. Now he is not punished for it. At some other point of time, the karmas he performed now will get back to him. So we can't judge karma that way. So our action has its consequence. The performer has to go through it. We cannot escape it at all. If others around you do not realize this and they do what they want, let them do. They are invoking, reaping their own karma. You don't fall into it. Make sure what you do is good. Let the consequence, the results of your action be good. This is the only way we can guard ourselves. And this education we need to give to the coming generation. Otherwise, they have no idea what karma is. I can do what I want. And I can get away what I want. No, you can't get away. Why am I not facing the result immediately? Some actions, the results are not immediate. It takes time. Let's say a person's body is very weak and is about to die, and he commits some heinous karma. So many people are destroyed by it. And he dies. He didn't even have time to wash off that. So it doesn't happen that way. So he says here, make sure that you wash off these sins. How do I wash? I make sure that I do good actions only. Commit to good actions, that's the only way. Satyam vada dharmam chara looks a very moralistic, outdated philosophy. Very valid even today. They are all from Veda. Please understand. It is from Veda. It is the rishis who have said it. It's not a statement of born out of intellect. It is beyond intellect. So they must be respected. These are the fundamental rules. If we were educated in Gurukula method of education, where adhyatmic knowledge and academics coming together, sacred and secular together, we would have understood it correctly. Today only one kind of education. Standard of life is not bothered. We do not know the laws of standard of life. Therefore we get into trouble. So he says, wash away the hordes of sins in your bosom. Recognize that the pleasure of sense objects are riddled with pain. What I think today is great fun is riddled with pain at another point of time. What I see as great pleasure would have pain at another point of time. What gave me joy at one point of time can be the source of intense sorrow at another point of time. Think for yourself. Isn't it? The other side of joy is sorrow. It is incomplete without it. At some point when you got it, it was such a joy. You had so much of joy from a particular action, result, achievement. Was that not a source of sorrow at another point of time? Attachment to people, at one point of time, such a great joy. Another point of time you feel, my God, it has burnt me down completely. Think. So, all that what you seek, what you consider as pleasures of the world, in the long run is riddled with pain. It looks like pleasure at one point of time, same thing can be painful at another point of time. The things which I love, are they not creating anxiety of losing it? Same object which gave you joy. Now there's anxiety, insecurity, I may lose it. Somehow I have to preserve. Somehow I have to keep it. Somehow it should continue. Look at the anxiety which comes. So the joy is what we get at one point of time is only sorrows at another point of time. Health. Think. Certain joys, certain pleasures. It can be food, it can be alcohol, it can be drugs. Another point of time, sorrow, right? At that point of time, great fun, but same thing, riddled with sorrow at another point of time. All the sense pleasures potentially have sorrow at another point of time. Do not get carried away by them. Do not get obsessed with them. Just recognize, this has joy. In some other point of time, this joy will also make me sad. This has the potential sadness in it. That we need to recognize. Then we will choose a minimum. This is going to give me a sorrow. Why go into it? I can be happy without it. It makes our thinking very high. Living may be simple, but thinking is very high. More of it we will take up in the following class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari. We'll have 2 more sessions. Now we'll break for lunch and then we'll have 2 more sessions. The next session is at 2 to 3, and the last session is 3:30 to 4:30. 3 o'clock we'll have a tea break, and 3:30 to 4:30 we'll have a final session for today.
Uncle 610.